Hi Rich, I'm Ezelle from The Upcoming. It's really lovely to speak to you today. Congratulations on this film. Can you talk a little bit about how it all started? Where did you meet the guys and what did you think of them when you first met them and what made you want to tell this story?
When I first met the guys, I worked out that they'll pretty much do anything for a few pints of Guinness. So that was my first impression. After a few pints of Guinness, they agreed to make a film. So it's that easy, really. No, look, they are. I was blown away by their charisma on stage. That was what first got me. They were one of my favourite bands growing up. Was Rage Against the Machine, and they really reminded me of that. This really overtly political band who just didn't care. They were, when the first gig I went to see them, they were throwing bags of powder into the crowd, and it was just like I was like, wow, that's amazing. It wasn't actually drugs, unfortunately. So I think a few people found that out the hard way, but it was, I just felt they were different, and I didn't know what we wanted to do at the time, but I knew I wanted to do something with them, and you know, a few drinking sessions later, we came up with the idea of Kneecap as a film.
Were they sort of quite tricky to get hold of to start with, or were they very open to the idea to start with? I imagine being quite controversial, they were approached quite a few times to be filmed.
Oh no, they ignored me for about 3 months, so it took quite a while to get their attention. It was only because I bumped into one of their ex-girlfriends that it was like completely randomly. It was like, I used to go out with one of the Kneecap lads. I was like, give me their phone number. So without her, we may never be standing here. So thank you, Kiva. We appreciate that. Look, they said they got approached a lot about things, and I think it was pure persistence on my part that broke them down. And then look, they did 6 months of acting classes, really threw themselves into that to sort of get to a position where they could do the film and perform well. And you know, it's a daunting thing performing opposite you likes of Michael Fassbender, and you know, they didn't look like kids who'd sort of won a raffle to be on screen with him. They really held their own, and so I was so proud of them, and it's such a vulnerable thing to do, to put yourself on screen playing yourself. So it's a bit of it's a head mess even thinking about it, like, do you know what I mean? So they did us all proud, and I think people can't believe they've never acted before.
And having Michael on board, how did that come about?
I mean, you know, it was pretty much, there's not many actors who can speak Irish, and and we obviously wanted to try and get the best actor we could find, and you know, they don't come much better than Michael Fassbender. And I think also in Belfast, Michael Fassbender's revered because of him playing Bobby Sands in Hunger. We have a lot of love for him for that, and so when we found out he spoke Irish, we were like, get that man the script, and within a week he came back to us, said he loved it, and it was kind of like we had a phone call and Michael Fassbender's in our film. So it really was that simple, and we were like, great, like, and that really was kind of a wake-up call, like, oh, this is a proper film now, like, you know, it's not just us messing about.
Did you sort of collaborate with them along the way? I mean, I know that obviously there was a script, but did you sort of find that things changed along the way with them? You kind of found that even though there was a script, that as the story went along, they kind of brought their own things into it as well about?
Not a huge amount, to be honest. I mean, you know, it wasn't an ad-lib film. Like, it very much was kind of, they pretty much stuck to what we're doing. But we had 6 months where we were working on that script in rehearsals. Do you know what I mean? So by the time we actually went to do it, we'd really kind of like by then we'd settled on what we were doing. I think more than that was the planning on how we shot it, because it's shot very creatively, but there was over 1,000 storyboards that we did to pull that off. So it was, you know, my background being commercial stuff, I'm quite used to planning everything very intricately, but to scale that up to a 100-minute film was a lot of work. But it did allow us the freedom then, because you had a plan, to turn up every day and try some things that were, creatively challenging, shall we say.
I think obviously you talk about the political unrest and also bringing the Irish language back to a younger generation. Were they very important issues and themes for you to bring to screen?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that's really the heart of the film, is this is maybe the first ceasefire babies story, in a way, that's kind of telling the story of these kids who are the generation after the generation, like, you know, who didn't live through the troubles but are still affected by, you know, the aftershocks of it, and so, you know, that was really important to give that generation a voice. Like, I'm not Irish, I make no claim to being Irish, it's where I live, but I think perhaps that outsider perspective that I have as being someone who's not from there helped me to connect the dots on some of the issues of intergenerational trauma, of the language and things like that, and piece it together in the way that we did in the film.
And what do you hope the viewers will take away? I mean, obviously, fantastic. Well done on winning in Sundance. I mean, that's amazing. And now to bring it here for its London premiere, what do you hope viewers will take away watching it?
Well, look, this is my hometown premiere. This is where I'm from, so it's exciting to, having travelled with the film a bit in America and had a great reception there. The UK premiere is exciting. Like, it's exciting, friends and family in the audience, everything like that. Look, I hope people will take away. I think the one word that sums it from it is identity. It's all about identity, and hopefully people will be prepared to think about what languages are in their family, what minority languages they may be able to embrace. Because once a language is gone, it's absolutely gone, and I think that I'd like people to reflect on that.
Thank you so much for speaking to me.